Welcome to the Founders Odyssey podcast, where we create an environment for founders to thrive through education, inspiration, and a supportive community. My name is Nathan Byrd, and I will be your host today. Today, there are many brilliant entrepreneurs and minds that come from some of the best colleges in the world, and those entrepreneurs need a place to go. Being led by one of the most innovative, driven, and visionary founders, Gladymir Philippe, is paving the way for talented college students to be discovered and hired through their platform called Kado. His vision and tenacity has brought this idea to life and believes that experiential learning has the power to unlock the unlimited potential of billions of people. Join us today as we understand more about Gladymir, Kado, and the positive change that they are making in the world. Thanks a lot, and welcome to the Founders Odyssey podcast, Gladymir.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to really be here on this nice Friday. And yes, my name is Gladymir Philippe. I'm the founder of Cardo. We are trying to help more college smart, skilled college students to find jobs early as the freshman year, and that's a great thing because most businesses think that, hey, you are a freshman in college, you might not have that skill set yet, but if you are a smart high school kid, you might have learned how to design, coding, and things like that. So basically, you might have way more skill set than one who have 3, 4, 5 years of experience. So those college students are left behind. So Cardo is picking them all and to help businesses reshape the workforce experience, and that's why I built Cardo.
I can truly understand where you're trying to take this, and it's very important for us not to lose track of those that have that information, that knowledge, and really the potential to expand into something great. And I think that's one thing we can see from the platform that you're building is you're wanting to help foster, but also align those brilliant minds to the great, a great place for them to work or for them to ideate or companies for them to create. So, I think that's one of the beautiful things about education. So tell me a little bit about your past and, a little bit about how you started in business and how you've come across now developing some form of a software platform now.
Oh man, it's a good question. I moved here 10 years ago this month in 2012. So I will be 10th year here in Utah. And I came here to go to school. In my first year, I went to the state to really learn English because I didn't speak English at all. I could say yes or no, and I had to learn ESL for the first 6 months, and then after that, I had to like go to my classes, and it was hard to listen to the teachers and to really take note fast. And I had to buy the Microsoft iPad to record the lectures in class and to really go home and study hard and to really write things down on my wall, and like it was hard. And I was in pre-med, and most of the classes I took them in high school, but to really learn those from French to English, it's like really hard. And I spent 2 years and a half at Bested, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, summer. So that would have been like a full years of school. Then I took my CAT exam. I passed that, and then I applied for med school, but I didn't speak English well, and I had a bad stutter. And 20 years, at 20 years of age, you don't really know how those things go. And I was really stressed out. So I failed my interview at the U, at UCLA, and few other schools. And I was like mad. I was like, Mom, I cannot be a doctor anymore. She's like, you are young. It's like, wait, it's like patience. And then I had a girlfriend who was in CS, and I was like, let me watch you code first and to see. And then I spent like the whole summer with her, and she was like coding, studying, and I was like, oh my god, it's fun because I don't have to talk to people, just like code. And then I went to the U. I got my CS. I had a friend who helped me get a job at the American Express, so I didn't have to really go through the whole interview process. I just sent my resume to the like hiring manager, and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna come over and interview the next day." I'm like, "What? That fast?" I was like, my first job. I was like, "No way!" And then I went there, and I didn't have that much money experience, but I was really straightforward. Like, hey, I can learn things fast, and I will take night classes, and then I will work. I will do my thing. I'm like, try me for 3 months. You don't like me? Okay, we can hear me. And my boss was like, okay, we will hire you. And then they hired me for 3 months, and then I did my job well, and they're like, okay, gonna hire you time now. So
Okay.
I got the job. I worked there for 3 years, and I led teams in Quebec, I led team in Paris, I led team in Brazil, I led team in India, and I felt like I learned a lot. And I quit, and I went to join Carta. And at Carta, I brought on my past experience at American Express, because when when you work at a startup, so they have new things, they have new ideas coming fast, and you have to use your mind fast. You have to make quick decision. And I was still young. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get burned out. So I helped build Hotter Excellence and the things too as well. Then I decided to launch my business, and I had another business called Stiltix, which was an event site, and then the name was like to steal a ticket. And that's how I came up with the name. And COVID came, and then I had to shut that down because yeah, that would like there's like no live events. There's like no sports events. I was like, oh, there's like no way I can keep that up. And then I shut that down. And in May 2020, I went to Mohab for 2 weeks, and I didn't have my phone because of charging and power and things like that. So I had to like clear my mind, go hiking, go do some fun stuff. So I had an idea to start a biotech startup, and I drove down here, and I went to the U. There was no student at the U. I was like, how can I find students to really help me do some research? Because I've been always a science guy, but I transitioned from science to coding. I was like,
Yes.
but I need help. And I went on Google, I was like, okay, what website I can use to really find students to help me? Handshake is not known for that. You can post a job, you are a business, but if you just have an idea, you cannot use handshake. And I was looking at other sites, and I found out Fiverr. I found about pork. I was like, but I don't want to work with people who have 10, 20 years experience are gonna ask you a ton of money. I'm like,
Yes.
is 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 on the Fiverr for college students to freelance? I was like, okay, let me build that instead, because I'm like, if myself can't find those college students, there might be other people who might really have a small coffee shop, who might need a design, who might need things like that. And then I built the app in June. My sister called me and like, hey, I finished college and I need a job. And I called my friends. I'm like, hey, can you help my little sister get a job? They're like, okay, cool. And then after a week, she got a job and she called me back to help her friends get jobs. I was like, oh my God. And I did that too as well. And they got a job. I'm like, not every talented student has the connections to have a good career. I'm like, what if I build a platform where those college students who are left behind and can't really find a job? Because if you go to Harvard, if you go to a big college, you might be able to find a job because of your parents, your dad, your mom. But if you go to Slake, your mom or dad might not have been in college, and you are like, okay, they might not be able to help you. Your cousin or your friends might not be able to help you. So I called a few schools. I'm like, hey, I built an app to really help some college students play the skill set. And they said, oh, nice, but we don't need that. But can you build as a platform to manage those projects? I was like, okay, fine. I was like, why why would I get rid of my app and to build you guys' things? Then I'm like, hold on, if the schools, they have the college students, they have the business partners. I'm like, they are my biggest clients. I'm like, okay, and I called them back. I'm like, hey, can you help me brainstorm what you want? They're like, yes. And every week we jump on Zoom with the U, with Yale, with school. We jump on the Zoom with them, and they help us get what they need the most. And then I said, okay, I really have a good idea about it. And then I designed Cardo myself. Then I started coding. Then I was like, hold on, if I code Cardo, I code what's really in my head. Let me go to those schools and get the best college students, because I'm building it for college students. So those college students know what they want. They know how that site should look like, and know the things that they want on the site. And then I went out there, I'm like, hey, I want some master students in CS. And then they're like, okay, we have 35 of them. I'm like, I don't need that much, but I'm like, okay, I can find some startups too as well. I can link them on, and then I can bring 2 or 3 of them. And then I did that, works well, and they love it. And then I brought on a CTO that was one of the students too as well, and he loves Kado. He's like, oh, yeah, nah, I really join your team. I'm like, yeah, fine. If you like Cardo, you like the mission, please join. And then now we have over 92,000 students. They're like, we need projects. And what really makes Cardo fun, it's like you don't need to have a skills to really be on Cardo because we are forcing the businesses to create those small projects for you.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there, but I like where you're going with it, and I like the niche that you're serving. What I've got from you so far, you know how to pivot. I think that's one of the biggest things that founders that are listening to this podcast, we've had multiple guests that just continue to talk about pivoting. And you had to pivot from, moving to the United States to not speaking very good English to needing to learn to failing through your interviews based on your speech or based on a few things I'm not sure, but you took that and you use it as fuel and motivation to find something and to learn more. And it seems that you've just been constantly knocking on doors to solve problems.
Yes.
And I think that just, if anyone out there is listening, is hopefully that story that he just has talked about is really motivating and inspiring for you to go above and beyond, learn, and continue to pivot where need be and not ever look back, just continue to move forward. So with Kado, you've got 90 some thousand students, and man, that is incredible. And it was all based on you finding the need. So what what more and what other needs or problems are you starting to see? And is it more of the same, or are you starting to identify more problems within the industry?
There are way more. And when you look at the tech and trees, you would want to change a problem, but you cannot go and change that problem. You have to find some things that way less, that not gonna take a lot of money, that's not gonna take a lot of time, that's not gonna uh take a lot of your energy too as well. So Cardo's mission is to change the workforce system, but we cannot go after the businesses and change like that.
True.
The change has to start with Gen Zs, right? So that's why Cardo goes after the college students because they can adapt faster, or they might have never been into the workforce yet, and then now you bring that to them. They will love that because they're like, well, it's new to me because I've never tried anything yet. It's my first. So they will adapt faster. And once that group of students adapt, they will be the future of the workforce. Now you have them. So now the people that are over 25 in the next few years, they will adapt. And we start with the college students. We have had a lot of questions for high school students. We might go there soon in a year or two. When you look at ed tech, 95% of those startups, they have courses online.
Yes.
So yeah, there are a lot of people that would be willing to rescale, that are looking for those courses to rescale, but they do not have a platform to practice because you might get a piece of paper, say, okay, I learned this thing and that, but this cannot get you a job. Yeah, you learn those things, but you have not put it into work yet. And
True.
when you apply for like a job and a job asking for 5 6 years of experience, you just learn a new thing. They will not give you a chance out of 200 or 300 people. So that's the next group of people that Cardo would go after too as well, because Microsoft just launched a thing. They said that by 2030 there will be 85 million tech job unfilled in 7 years. 85 million tech jobs unfilled. But when you look at over the past 200 years, schools in the whole world have helped 200 million people get a bachelor degrees. And now you just ask them to give you 85 million students in 7 years. There's like no way that they can help you with that. And when you look at back in 2010, when Byrd camp came out with, they were like, okay, I'm gonna try to like help the workforce system.
Mhm.
Yes, it was nice, but still now there are way more jobs. The reason why there are way more jobs. Who got smart kids like me? We had a job, we quit, and now that business has a job opening now, and I build a startup and then I create more jobs. And when you take a guy like me and you multiply that by 2 3 4 500 kids like me, and now we each have a startup, right? So there's like way more jobs that will open. And COVID just made it worse because a lot of people that really had a job, they would go to the office. They were like, now my business is like, hey, you have to come back to the office. And I see my friend is working from home. I'm like, hell no, I will not go to that office. I will quit and then I will look
Yes.
for one. So the businesses that will win in the war of the job shortage are the one that will let you work from home. And as long as you let people work from home, you will be able to work with college students, because the college students now are like, it is almost to me, because I've never had a job where like I had to go into the office. Now I am in school and my first job is to work from home. I don't want to go into the office because I save money on gas. I don't have to buy clothes. I don't have to buy food. I don't have to buy coffee. I don't have to spend money on things. And that is the future that we will see, because more college students are gonna be used to working from home. And the businesses that want you to work in the office, they will be losing on great talent.
I agree 100% with what you're saying here. And I know the future is, it's certainly bright, but it is certainly changing. And there's a cultural change here. And of course, the pandemic has expedited that. And it's really about positioning and timing. And that's what I've seen with, you and your startup and the people that you're trying to serve, and not only trying, but also succeeding, and that's very exciting. So, tell us a little bit about some of your company growing pains and things that you're learning along the way that those founders that are listening to this are also trying to learn themselves.
And I am a tech guy and I knew how to code, but I didn't know how to design. I didn't know how to talk to users and to really know if you should build this and that. And that was the first mistake I made with still takes, because I had an idea in my head. So I went ahead and built it for me, but I thought I built it for people. But no, because I didn't talk to users. I was like, okay, I have that pen. There might be 10, 20, 30 people too as well that might have it. So I built it with the the way I had it in my head, but with Cardo, because I talk with schools and businesses. So I started to see more of a business person that's going that's out there and doing some research first, and that's what I tell people. I'm like, hey, you have an idea, don't build this site first. Just go, just out with the talk to people, because you never know, they will help you build it. You don't have to listen to all of them, but you have to find the common pain points that each of them has in common. You're like, okay, so who have like 10 20 10 20 people you talk to, they will not tell you the same exact thing, but there's one thing in common. That's what you have to find out. Then you go ahead and design your thing, and you're like, hey, I designed this, would you pay for it? And
Yes.
if they say yes, they will put money for it. Now you're like, okay, so let me build a scrappy version of that and then give it to them. And if they love it, you're like, okay, so you solve a problem. And that's what I did with Kado. The first few projects I did with the students, with the youth, I didn't have a site yet. I use Slack and email. I connected students and businesses through Slack and email. The process was painful to manage those and things like that, but I was solving a huge problem because the students were getting jobs. They were like, oh, I got to school. And they were helping me to build that platform. So I learned how to design. I learned how to talk to users. I learned how to talk to clients. I learned how to, well, the go to market is really a big thing that most first time founders don't really think about. And it's really the key for your business, because you might have a great product, but the go to market is what will make your business move forward or scale it. And yeah, so those things are the things I learned. And I I am really glad that I haven't raised money yet, because if I did, I might have not have that much success, because now I know a little bit of design, I know a little bit of business, I know a little bit of how to run ads, I know how to do my finance, I know how to do those things. Now I can hire someone, I can at least ask them the basic questions. Or
Hmm.
if a thing is not what is not working, kind of fire those people. I can ask the why, because I have a little bit of knowledge of those things. But if you raise money first, you're gonna hire a team, then you don't really know your business. You might know how to build your product, or you might know how to lead your team, but you don't really know every aspect of your business. And that's why it's good to bootstrap your business. And I'm not saying that it's the best, but you will learn a lot because you have a little tiny bit of money and you won't want to spend it to this and that. And you will try to spend it well. And once you have that core foundation. And now when you bring on 2, 3, 4, 5 mil, you will not spend it on swag. You will not spend it on things that doesn't matter to your business. And that's what I learned really. So
Yeah, finding product market fit, making sure that your product has a validity to the market is what I'm hearing. And for those out there, just remember, ask as many questions as possible. Have a very systematic approach to how many people that you talk to. And remember, the quality of our life is defined by the quality of the questions that we ask. And that means the quality of our business will be measured by the quality of questions that we ask. And it sounds like Gladymir has found the key, and he just continues to iterate on problems that companies are telling them they need solved. And we find that to be very helpful. And once again, I'm super excited for the growth of Kado here. Um, Let me ask you real quick, what is one of your legacies that you would like to leave on this earth, and how do you think where do you think the future of Kado is going?
the future of Cardo really is giving an opportunity to every college students in school or every high school students because there is no job without an ed without school. So you have to go to school, you have to gain skill set to really get a job. And Cardo is for every student. As long as you are in school, Cardo is for you. And we want to really help you get the skills that you need to land a high paying job. And I don't build it for kids that look like me. I don't build it for kids that really look like you. But if you are in school, Kado is for you. So there's like no thing on race or color or things like that. If you are smart and you stay in school, Kado is for you, and we want to help you. My legacy, I've never thought about it really. What makes me proud or happy is every day I get up and then I'm like, yeah, I need to help one more student or 2 or 3 more students. And that's what really makes me happy. So I don't look at the next 10 years because it's like too far away. But the next day, what can I do for the next college students or this and that? So that's how I take my life. So I can't compare myself to Jeff Bezos or things like that because
Yes.
you might have business that help a lot of people, but you might have not built it enough like wealth and things like that. But I love to help more people because if you look at me, I've been so lucky. I've been so gifted because when I have a French accent, two, I had a job when I was in school, so I didn't know I could have landed a job like that. Then I did, and then I did my best. So there are way more college students who are way smarter than me and skilled, but they can't find a way to land those jobs, and that's what I'm trying to really bring to them. Hey, you are talented. you can get a high paying job, but this is how you're gonna get it. You work on those small projects.
That's so good. I've got, one last question here before we hop off, but what is what is one thing that you need as a company, and how can the Founders Odyssey podcast followers and listeners out there help you in your mission?
To help me in my mission really is to spread the word of how Cardo helps businesses reshape the workforce, how Cardo helps them find some talented students, how Kado helps schools retain their college students and recruit more high school students. How Kado helps students gain more work experience as early as freshmen to really shorten the gap from when they finish school and when they can land a job. And the more kids I can help, the more kids Cardo can help, the more businesses I can help fill a position, the more school I can help go to those high school and to really recruit more high school students. That's way much better because I look at the last time 35% of high school students never step foot in college. And those ones, it's harder for them to land a high paying jobs because they will stay at the mid 40K per year and they might not know what startup mean. They might not know what sales mean or what PM jobs is or what coding or design is. But the tech is moving fast. Now you are talking about metaverse. You are really talking about Web3. You are talking about crypto. There are 70% or more people on this planet don't know those things yet. They
Yes.
still don't know them. And but me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like really early. But for those people, they've never heard of those things. Why? Because they are not in those circles to really learn. They don't have friends that really can tell them, hey man, I'm seeing a written guy tweet about this web, this doing things like that. So if we can get more high school students to go to college, it's better to have more talented students to fill those jobs.
Amen. We've got a winner here with Kado and Gladymir. We just want to thank you so much today, sharing your personal story, your experience, your knowledge, your understanding of the educational space, helping students connect to jobs that could really transform and change their life, which changes a culture, which changes a community. And we're excited to hop aboard and what you're doing. So everybody out there, this is Gladymir Philippe with Kado, and we are very excited that you've joined us here on the Founders Odyssey podcast. So if you like today's episode, feel free to subscribe and also share it with your friends. And until next time, we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.